What if I told you that over 50% of parents feel a sense of loss when their kids move out? And yet no one really talks about what happens next. If most of your life you've spent taking care of kids, being a caregiver, then what happens and what do you do when the house completely goes quiet? Join me today as I dive into the emotional roller coaster of what happens when your kids fly the nest. Hi, I'm Sin Oliver. I'm a transformation and an organizational psychologist, and I focus on working and supporting women through huge life transitions in career, relationships, or becoming an empty nester. At the end of the day, becoming an empty nester is a huge transition and a change of life. It is not only a new chapter for your child, but it is also about you entering this new phase of having space, time, and freedom to do things that you haven't been able to do in a long time. Your daily routines will definitely change, and that's a huge adjustment, right? So no more snack making, no more preparing lunch, no more being a chauffeur, no more planning activities and being the manager of schedules. And you might miss that daily chaos and the constant questions and the never-ending requests that you get, right? But on the other hand, you might also feel relieved to have some peace and quiet, and maybe the freedom and space to pursue your own interests. Imagine that, right? Like, what does that even look like? The challenges of empty nesting are real, and you might feel like you're losing your identity as a mom, which is difficult to deal with. And also, you might feel like you're no longer needed in the same way. Now, for those of you who are extreme nurturers and enjoyed having to do things for your child all the time and being needed all the time, this is definitely a huge shift that can leave you feeling a bit lonely and almost without purpose. I promise you, though, that with this newfound sense of freedom and time, you will have the ability to discover and uncover newfound possibilities and interests. You can rediscover hobbies, travel, pursue a new career, make new friends, even reconnect to your partner. So, although this is a time that can feel extremely lonely, extremely confusing, and sad, it is a time also for exploring new things and even previous things that you have been interested in and want to rediscover. So, how do you go through this transition? How do you cope with this humongous change? Well, I'm going to share 3 steps to get you through this difficult time in life. And the first one is acknowledge your feelings and give yourself permission to feel all of them. And whatever comes up, feel it. This is, at the end of the day, a sad phase. It's sad. I mean, I know I've been through it and it's sad. So those feelings are going to come up. And the last thing you want to do is to ignore them or shove them down or pretend that they don't exist. It is part of your own grieving process. Just like any other grieving process, you have to actually feel it. Let yourself feel it. The only way out is through, and acknowledge, talk about it. Talk with your partner if you have a partner. Talk with your friends about it. Talk with other people who are actually going through the same thing, and acknowledge and name these feelings that are coming up and these emotions that are coming up that are extremely valid and normal. The second step is find new ways to stay connected to your children or your child. Okay, so whether that means scheduling Zoom calls or scheduling visits, whether you go to them or they come to you, or texting throughout the day and at least saying, okay, listen, check in with me via text. Are you doing okay? How's it going? So that you know that they're doing okay and you can feel a little bit more at ease by not having them by your side and seeing that they're doing okay. Make sure that that communication is open. And so before you actually drop them off, sometimes it's a helpful thing to do to talk about what is this going to look like, and do we want to schedule and create a structure by which we're going to communicate more, because I'll tell you, it can get a little bit difficult when you just don't hear from them at all, because that's a bit scary, especially when you've just started this process and this is the first time that they're just away and not with you. And number 3, take time to rediscover yourself, your interests and your passions. I know I've mentioned this before, but this is such an important piece of this phase in life. And it might take time for you to get used to that, right? Because you're not used to actually paying attention to who you are as a person, as a woman, right? As a human being without being a mom. And you might not be used to thinking about what are some things that you might want to do now, that you might want to learn, that you might want to rediscover or revisit or start doing again. What did you used to love doing before you became a mom? Think about it. What was fun for you? What did you used to do before this phase in life? Because you get to revisit that person. And yes, you are not the same person. And this is the beauty of it. You are completely different and have a ton more experience and are probably much more grounded in yourself as an adult and what you are really interested in and want to do and what fuels you and what makes you happy and what brings you joy. And so you get to explore all of those things now. I remember when my twin daughters left for college, they did not go to the same school. So I dropped one off first, and that was hard enough, but at least I had the other one at home for like another week and a half or so with me, which helped. But when I dropped off the second one, I have to say it was so difficult for me. I felt like I had this huge gaping hole in my heart. Like I literally felt heartbroken. Like it is a thing. And I cried the entire drive home. And I was like, wow, how am I going to survive this? And I am a single mom. So, I did not have a partner at that time. I don't now either, but that's neither here nor there. But I was on my own. And it took me some time to get through it. I would say 2 to 3 weeks or so to get used to it, especially when I got back home and there was literally nobody there. And it was a process by which I had to get used to this new reality and understand that, you know what, I had to be proud of myself for raising two beautiful human beings who are now independent young women living away at college and doing the thing that they're supposed to do. And I was very, very proud of myself, and I was proud of them and also proud of myself too for, getting to this point in my life where I've raised children who are capable of doing this big step, because it is a big step, right? So you have something to be proud of as well. It's important for you to be proud of yourself and your children and getting to this phase in life where now you get to take that pride and also add on some wonderful enjoyment in new things and different things that you haven't explored in a long time. In the end, empty nesting is a journey. It is not a destination. And so it's a chance to, again, rediscover yourself, to reinvent your role as a parent, as a woman, and to find new passions and interests. And I'm telling you, I know I've repeated it several times during this video, but it is so important for you to hone in on that. And that's not always easy, right? But it is a natural part of life. I mean, we tell our kids when you go to school, right, to make new friends and explore new activities and think about things that you want to try. And so we get to do the same thing. And a lot of times we just don't. These are things that aren't spoken about all the time, right? And it's something we just find ourselves alone or without children and really struggling with understanding and figuring out who we are and what we want to do now with our lives. If you're going through this transition right now, please, I want to hear from you. Let me know what your experience is like in the comments below. And if you're looking for more videos on major life transitions, then subscribe for more tips, tools, and tenderness, because I'm here every single Tuesday. If you are looking for support during big, huge life transitions, then please look in the description box below where I have all of my services. Thank you so much for stopping by, and I will see you in the next video. Ciao.